Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Stomp Friends, I believe we call it. And we're very honored to have Classie Ballou here, a true Louisiana music legend. And we want to talk with you about the different phases of your career and get you to play a little bit. And you're a very youthful 72. Nobody would guess it, right? You're 72 years old, right?
No, you're putting one too many. I'm 71.
So you got a birthday coming up, right?
Don't try to make me older than what I am.
Don't let me do that. No, that's okay. That's okay. And you were born in Elton, Louisiana, out in the country.
Right.
Elton is kind of, for those of you not from Louisiana, it's due north of, it's between Basile and Lake Charles, roughly, or Basile and the state line in southwestern Louisiana, a small town. There's a Chitimacha Indian reservation there.
Right. Well, it's more or less between Basile and Kinder.
Basile and Kinder, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And in that area, when you were growing up, that's part of the French-speaking part of Louisiana.
Right.
And did your family speak French?
Yeah. I'm the only child, and my mother and father couldn't speak English too good, and they're both deceased. So, back then, well.
So were you one of the people of that generation who didn't learn to speak English till you got to school?
Did what?
Did not learn to speak English until you got to school.
No, I mean,
you spoke French
back then,
also.
They didn't really want me to learn
French.
French, yeah. They wanted to. My daddy could speak English fairly well, but my mother couldn't.
Right.
So I think the reason why they didn't want me to hear to say what they said, when they want to whip my butt or whatever.
I got you. Okay. Well, the main reason I mentioned the French language is to lead into asking you about the music that you heard when you were growing up. Was there a lot of accordion music? It was not called Zydeco at that time. I guess it was called La.
Yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit, please.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a little short story on that. I had an uncle. His name was Littell Thomas. And back then, my mother, she was a fanatic in playing Pitty Pat. She had them little Pitty Pat games.
That's a card game, right?
Yeah, card game. And what they would do, they would throw big gumbos, and on Saturday night, they might have one in Basile, next one in Eunice, or, out in the country, And I was playing my uncle, like I said, he played by himself.
Played accordion.
Right, played accordion. And I was playing the scrub board for him. It was a glass scrub board back then, before Zydeco
Right.
now, well, they got them steel now. And glass would be flying all over my face and everything, a piece of glass. So he was real, clear, Creole too. He looked at me when he said, "Classie!" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You need to play a guitar, boy." I said, "Really?" So I said, I don't know if I can play a guitar. He said, "Talk to your daddy." He said, my father, he had 45 acres of land, and he was a cropper.
Sharecropper?
Yeah, And so Daddy said, he said, if I sell good cotton, because he raised cotton, corn, everything, turkeys, guineas, he had everything, hog, cattle, we had it all.
Right.
And so he said, if I do well, this year, blah, blah, I'll buy you a guitar. So anyhow, I was going to school in Elton, and we lived 5 miles out of town. And back then, the bus wouldn't come in front of your house. Where the bus would pass at, you have to go But anyhow, they had a bunch of mailbox there, and I had a horse trained. Her name was Topsy. Topsy would take me to the
and then go back home.
Take me to the mailbox thing. We hit her one time, and then when I get back, she'd be there waiting on me.
What?
Yeah, and I hit her back. Otherwise in the morning,
right.
she go back home. So that evening, I saw a big old box laying across all these mailboxes, and I looked on it, and my father's name was Classie Ballou. So I said, "This is for us." I said, "I wonder what's in that box, I didn't have no idea it was a guitar. And y'all remember little Stella book? Back then we didn't have no Walmart and Kmart. You had to order what you wanted. Stella was like that, back then.
Right.
So, got home, and I had that big old box laying across the hearth seat, top seat. So I saw my daddy. He got to walking toward me and toward the gate, and he just laughed. He said he knew what it was. I said, Daddy, what's in that box? He said, wait till we get in the house. I'm going to show you. Got it there. He opened it up. It was a little Stella guitar.
I bet you were thrilled, huh?
Yeah. And right next door to us, they had some, my mother used to call them La Americaine, and La Americaine mean that they was Yankees, they was Blessingtons.
People still say that in South Louisiana.
Yeah, she said, ça c'est l'Américain.
And also, people are considered to be pushy or overbearing. They're also described as Americain.
Right.
It's not a flattering description.
Right, but to make a long story short, this gentleman here, he was a farmer too, and he had a son. Well, he was lazy. All he did play the acoustic guitar all day and just sang, and he wouldn't work or do nothing. His name was Truman. So I said, Truman, I said, can you show me some chords, man? I said, I got this little old guitar. He said, yeah. So he the one showed me my first C, G, and D chord.
And how old were you then? 12, 13?
No, I was 10, about 10 then.
Okay.
And then my father, he sold his 45-acre land, decided he wanted to move to Lake Charles, and back then you could haul your house. We hauled the house to Lake Charles on the lot.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it went on to when he became a professional construction worker. Because my father, he was a hard-working man. He was the type of man to where you could tell him to do that job that you didn't have to sit there and watch him, like some people you had to watch them. You come back, it was done.
I got you.
So anyhow, I decided to when, I was kind of getting good on that. I said, I want to buy me an electric guitar. Well, he said, you got to work. I said, I was kind of like Truman then. I didn't work, well, I was going to school,
Mm-hmm.
So he finally got me a job working construction with him, because back then I was 29, 30 in the waist, and I was tall and slender, so you had to be 18, but he said, I can get you in. So
I got you.
So I saved my money, and I bought me a brand new Fender Telecaster and a brand new Fender amp.
Okay.
And that's how I got started. Next thing, I played with a guy named Keith. He played drums, and he played by himself, and then I started getting good at that. And then you remember Shelton Donaway?
Yeah. Ended up with Cookie and the Cupcakes, right?
Well, I'm the one started cooking. When I got to my band, Cookie got to see what I was doing, and then he got his band, and then Shelton all the way to Jacob, but anyhow. But
I got you.
Yeah.
Ernest, Cookie was Cookie Cherry, right?
Cookie, yeah. What's his
first name?
I think
last name was Cherry.
Terry. Yeah, his real name was Felix Terry.
Right.
Cookie was his nickname,
Right.
Felix Terry, I believe that was his real name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you to play a little bit. And now I know this is the wrong instrument, but I was just wondering, do you remember any of the songs that you heard way back with your uncle playing the accordion? Could you give us a little down on the guitar? Maybe that doesn't make sense.
Oh man, I can't remember none of that stuff that man was playing.
Well then we'll just fast forward then. Just forget I ever mentioned that. Okay.
No. I mean,
you can give me a little something.
I really don't remember what, all I know is just pulling that card in.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
well.
You want me to play,
Well, not if you don't remember it. We can move on to what you first.
Oh, Lord. I can play Jolie Blonde for you, something like that.
Was that one of the songs they would play back then?
Yeah.
Well, give us a little taste of that, and then we'll move on into your blues career.
Jolie Blonde, pretty girl, where you stayed last night. Tu m'as quitté pour s'en aller, oh maman. shabby bed. Oh, mama. Hey.
Doesn't take you long to get warmed up, does it? No.
I hadn't played that in years, man. I forgot.
Oh, didn't know. It sounded great. So you got this Fender guitar. You're around 18 or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't mean to cut you off, man.
No, you're not cutting me off.
I was green and young and didn't know, and they said that guitar, I traded it off and didn't know. They said that guitar worth over 30 grand right now. Every time I think about it, I can.
Well, who knew back then?
But I didn't know, you know. Oh, I think I paid about $125 for it and about $75, $80 for the amp, you know. Yeah, that was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Try not to think about it.
Yeah, but anyhow, yeah, you're right.
Well, when you got that guitar that unfortunately you don't have anymore, what were some of the first things that you learned to play? This was Gatemouth Brown was hot then with things like Okie Dokie Stomp.
Yeah, I ain't bragging. That and Honky Tonk, I was like the Michael Jackson of Lake Charles. And
if it's true, it's not bragging. You know, if it's true, it's not bragging.
No, well, it's true.
Yeah, okay.
Been a long time.
All right, then that song is Honky Tonk. It was a big hit for.
I'm a little rust on that one. I haven't played
No, that's fine. A big hit for Bill Doggett, and the guitarist on that was Billy Butler, Jerry Butler's brother.
Jerry Butler. No, not
his brother.
It was Billy Butler.
Billy Butler was the guitar player on that.
Yeah.
So that was the kind of thing. In a typical club gig around 1955, when you were 18. What kind of stuff would you play songs like Honky Tonk, Okie Dokie Stomp? Yeah. Man, I don't forgot that stuff. It's been so long. Well, that's all right. You've been doing other kinds of music.
But anyhow, that was my thing back then, you know.
And you would play. Lake Charles had a pretty happening blues and rhythm and blues scene at that time, right?
Ray Charles?
No, Lake Charles had a very happening, very active rhythm and blues scene going on.
Yeah. Well, you know, back then, man. Check 1 2. I really wasn't the one darn no blues, you know. I really started off like in a white club. That was my thing. You know?
Playing in the white clubs?
Yeah, I started at the Moulin Rouge with my first gig in a white club with Jimmy C. Newman.
Yeah, sure.
Jimmy C. Newman used to play from 9 to 1, and I would play from 1:30 till 4 in the morning. You know, back then we go all night long. You know?
Right.
And then from there, I ended up going to a club in Momental and Step In L'Hotel and and then I became the of LSU. It was colleges then.
Frat parties?
Yeah, man. I mean, they used to meet me at the gate. Back then, I used to have long hair like Little Richard. You know, we used to wear them, the process they
the
call it.
process? Right.
Yeah, and I was tall and slender, 29 in the waist, and I used to hold my guitar way down on, way
Right,
down here.
right.
And he used to clown, play behind my head, behind my back.
Right.
Now, if I try that, you might have to call 911 for me. But then,
I don't know if
and I had Lamar College sort of back then too. And believe it or not, I was paying musicians more than Fats Domino, Bobby Bland back then, and my whole band had a new car.
Oh, okay.
We all had a new car. I had a new station wagon back then.
Uh-huh.
And because I find out that Bobby Bland was paying $17.50 a night, Fats Domino was paying $37.50 a night, and I was paying $50 a night.
Oh, God, back then?
Man.
That's
right.
It's like $500 today.
Yeah.
Well, you were...
And after I paid my band, I cleared like $1,000, And
oh, man.
that was big money back then.
Oh, yeah, sure it was.
That's because everybody loved to play with Classie Ballou because, I always believe in paying musicians. I don't try to make all the money,
Yeah, some musicians are barely making $50 a night now.
Now, you're right.
Yeah. So when you're playing,
true.
playing in the white clubs, I guess there were different trends that would come and go,
Yeah,
like
because I
the
was
surf.
doing like, you made me cry when you said goodbye. Ain't that a shame? My tears felt like rain. Then I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill, on Blueberry Hill. I'm here in New Orleans with Ben Sandmel.
That's the closest I'll ever get to being in a Fats Domino song.
And I was doing, yeah, that's about a hound dog. I'm a big fan of Elvis, man. To me, the two greatest guys that ever hit the planet was Elvis and Michael Jackson. I mean, Michael got his personal problem, but I love Michael with a passion. I loved that Elvis. Those guys, they were super special. I mean, it was nobody like Elvis, nobody like Michael,
Did you ever cross paths? Did you ever cross paths with Elvis?
Who?
Elvis, when he came through Louisiana. Did you ever meet him or play on any shows with him?
Let me tell you a little story about that. No, I never had the opportunity to meet Elvis. Like I say, I had Lamar College sort up in Beaumont, and you remember Chelsea Street Pub? I don't know if you heard it. They had
in Beaumont?
Yeah, well, they had a circuit of them, But anyhow, I used to be on that circuit, me and my youngest son, Cedric. And but anyhow, they had a bunch of guys, had a table, about 25 or 30 of them. And they said, we want to talk to you when you take your break. I said, okay. And I thought they wanted to talk to me about a wedding, because I do a whole lot of weddings and stuff, Because I do stuff like, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. But anyhow.
Wedding gigs are always better than club gigs.
So I get a whole lot of gigs like that. I had a young lady heard me sing there. She said, I heard you. I'm getting off track. She said, you have a beautiful voice. She lived in Dallas, working for a big corporate company. She lived in Corsicana, Texas. She said, would you play my wedding? I said, yeah. She said, how much you charge? I said, I charge 25 on up. She said, what about it? She said, I got a song I want you to play for my wedding, and it's by the late, great Louis Armstrong. It's called Wonderful World. She said, if I sing you a copy of that and give you $3,500, will you play for my wedding? I said, when you go send it?
I got you.
But anyhow, these guys said, we thought you were dead. I said, what? Yeah. You know those guys in Beaumont. It was a
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
They said, we thought you were dead. I said, really? But they said, we saw your name in the paper. And they said, we want you to know, Twain, you used to play for our fret party. I said, really? And they said, we want you to know that it was a big controversy about you and Elvis. I said, what? I said, what are you saying? He said, you know, Elvis, I saw a bio on Elvis. Elvis used to play at a club in Beaumont all the time. And did you ever see that?
No.
And the guy ran out back door one time and didn't pay Elvis. And boy, he was mad. He just had 3 pieces. He had old Raggedy Cadillac and the bass, the big upright bass they tied up top of the Cadillac. And he put the guitar in his trunk, you know, of his car. He just had him, a bass and
drummer.
Right, So anyhow, so they say, because he was popular in Beaumont too, you know. So, but they said we took a vote on it, and guess who won? I said Elvis. They said no, you the one was picked. I said really? So I said this is an honor to me that I was picked over Elvis, you know. Yeah, so anyhow.
Well, Elvis wasn't much of a guitar player, though, and you are.
No, well,
you know?
I know he played just rhythm, you know, like George Strait do, but look how popular George Strait is, though. You know?
Well, that's true.
I wish I had part of his money.
But we're going to
Amarillo by morning.
Well, hold that thought for a minute, because I want to ask you, you know, what you've been doing in more recent years, and I know you played a lot of country music, but let me go back in time to the 50s a little bit, and the 60s. There were places in Lake Charles, for example, a place called Ball's Auditorium.
Yeah.
And a lot of people visiting big R&B artists would come through.
Right, yeah.
And did you ever, were there ever situations where they came through without a band and you were hired to back them up?
Oh yeah, Big Joe Turner, and Chuck Berry, they didn't want no band, you know. So
they didn't want to hire their own band. They just played with whoever, right?
In other words, they didn't want the problem of headache of having bands, so they always wanted to be single. So I backed up Joe Turner at Ball's Auditorium one time. But like B.B. and Bobby Bland, they always had their own band, you know, when it came to Little Junior Parker back then, you know.
Sure.
Buddy Ace, all those guys. Yeah, they always had their own
By any
band.
chance, did you ever run across Ernie Cato? He's a little bit later, early 60s.
No, I never had the opportunity to meet Ernie Cato. Now, I have played at the Circle Ball with Earl King.
Right.
Yeah, poor thing. He was so drunk I had to tune up his guitar. Have mercy on his soul. But Earl King was great though, man. You know he was. Yeah. Yeah, he was great.
But did many of the New Orleans guys or Eastern, you know, Southeast Louisiana guys come through at Ball's Auditorium? I mean, like Guitar Slim, people like that.
Yeah. I've seen Guitar Slim down there.
Well, tell us about that, because he was a great showman.
Yeah, he was, man. The thing that I used to do. Oh, I'm in the wrong key. The thing that I used to do, baby. Lord, I won't do no more. You know,
you played that a few times, I think.
Yeah, I had to refresh myself on that one. That's the wrong key too. It's in a key of E, I believe. But anyhow.
No wrong keys up here. You know? They're all good keys.
All right.
Okay. Now let's talk about, when did you start recording? Because there's some songs that are, associated with you, your signature songs. Okay. And those would be in the late 50s. You started recording. I think you did some recording for Jay Miller.
Right.
And those came out on Excello. And of course, just to go on a little digression, but the name of this entire event, the Ponderosa Stomp, you'll see in the exhibit there's a song called Ponderosa Stomp by Lazy Lester on the Excello label. And that label was based in Nashville, which gave people the impression that the musicians were from Nashville, but a lot of their records were recorded in Southwest Louisiana and through a business arrangement were released by Excello. Mm-hmm. So you did some recording for Jay Miller.
Right, yeah, yes I have.
And Eddie Schuler also.
Well, I started with Eddie Schuler first, and then Guitar Gaber called me one time. He said, "Man," he said, "we've been hearing about you." He said, "Miller said he wants to record you." I said, "Really?" I said, "Okay." So he said, I went there one day and talked to him, and so we got together, and that's how I started recording for Miller. And at the time, well, I didn't know that he had a subcontract deal with Excello, so he put me on Excello label, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's like, you know.
Right. And then some of your songs that are, you know, for instance, Hey Partner and Crazy Mambo. What period of time, when did you record those? And tell us about those a little bit.
Well, that was in the late 50s. I think about 55 or 56.
Okay.
Yeah, and what was the name of that song you
Well, Hey Partner.
Hey, partner. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little demonstration.
Yeah,
of
well,
Hey,
yeah,
partner.
and then please.
And you know that Lazy Lester is playing a
Cardboard box?
cardboard box on that. Sure is. Yeah, because Miller, you know, a whole lot of them old guys. Like who was that harmonica player? He used to have
Slim Harpo.
yeah, you know, they used to hit that. I used to wonder what, because it didn't sound like no drum. That
Right.
the sound would pop, you know, with a bop, pop, the backbeat, you know.
Yeah, and Jay Miller was a great record producer.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
a strange
he-
guy. He also put out a lot of Ku Klux Klan records and
Really?
the things that were not in very
No, I didn't know about that.
very good taste. Yeah, it was kind of a split personality in a way.
I
but
didn't know about that.
his blues records really had a good feel and
Really?
very innovative producer.
Well, you see, back then I was green too, just like I messed around and sold that Telecaster. Didn't know, you know, so I didn't know. But anyhow,
Well, he probably didn't advertise. He put them out not quite under his own name, but everybody knew what they were. But we're
Really?
digressing. But play us a little bit of Hey Partner.
okay, Lazy Lester would play the intro like. Yeah, there you go. You're a drummer. This man here is a great drummer too, ladies and gentlemen. Do y'all know Ben Sandmel? Okay, yeah, a great musician. I forgot you was a drummer. Yeah. There you go. Boy, you good, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna fire my drummer and hire you for play at the Blues House for me. That man is good. Okay, that's enough. You're gonna make me change my mind.
Okay. All right. You didn't want to drum solo, did you? Well, that was Hey Partner.
Yeah, you sure would change my mind.
Okay. All right.
I give him an outright applause.
Oh no, that's all right.
Mr. Ben Sandmel. Also, he has a book out. You remember you give me a book?
On Zydeco music. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all need to check his book out. He
Oh, well,
got some
thank you.
real interesting stuff in there. It's been a
thank
while though. We was in San Antonio.
On a conference.
He did a
together,
bio
yeah.
on my grandson. You know, I have
Yeah.
a grandson real hot in Zydeco too. Cedrell Ballou.
Cedrell, yeah, very talented.
Really hot.
And you have a daughter also who's a singer.
Yeah, well, I have a family band, you know, so whenever I'm out front, it's Classie Ballou and the family band. I got a little 9-year-old drummer. He is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. He play all my blues and all Cedrell's, Zydeco and everything, you know. Yeah, his name is Cameron Shamal Ballou. He is awesome. But anyhow,
Let me ask you about two of your other big records, and then I want to ask you a little bit about Zydeco and recording with Boozoo. We don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but how about Crazy Mambo? That was, okay, we just did Hey Partner, but Crazy Mambo?
yeah.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that song.
Oh, man.
Are we going too far back here?
No. Okay, Crazy Mambo, that was, to be truthful about it, I think it was kind of Miller idea about that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember.
And what about Classie's Whip? That was in the late 60s.
Oh, now Classie's Whip, now that's Classie there. That's strictly
Let's give us a little of that.
Okay.
All right.
That's as well.
Now, let me.
There's more to it than that. But y'all got to come to House of Blues and hear me play the whole song.
Right. Something that's.
I don't want to play too many because they might won't come, Jim. I mean,
Oh man, no, you're gonna tantalize them.
Yeah, they might.
No, man. It's just like a little taste of drugs.
Gotta do like I went to Chicago and you know George Paulus?
Yeah, Barrel House Records.
Yeah, he had me to do a blues CD, and I said, man, I want a copy of that. Yeah, he gave me a copy of it, but he cut all the songs in half, you know.
Oh. Well, you cut them in about 1/10 right there.
No,
But it's your
like I told
songs.
him, I said, man, I ain't gonna do nothing with them. I can't, you know. Well, you know,
I got you.
You know the story behind that. So.
I do. Well, now it's interesting. A lot of the rhythms that you use and the rumba beat, like,
Yeah.
it kind of ties into the idea of South Louisiana being considered the northern frontier of Caribbean culture.
I hear you.
And people have told you, I guess, that, tried to describe your style as Gulf Coast guitar because it's got a Caribbean influence.
I hear you.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
man.
don't.
I'm a mambo freak and reggae.
Okay.
I used to have a horn section, and I know you heard of Xavier Kugak. Man, I used to do all that stuff. We used to do Mambo 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then T for toot doop doop doop. Doop, 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 doop. You know, cha-chas. I love
cha-chas, right.
I'm a freak behind stuff like that.
All right.
I guess that's the come I recorded some. Well, I do. I love mambos, you know. I love mambos and cha-chas.
You see any connection between that and Zydeco rhythms or New Orleans rhythm and blues rhythms?
Somewhat, yeah. Somewhat, you know, like I'm trying to think of a song that my grandson played, got kind of little rumba beat to it. Oh boy, I can't think of the name of that song, but it do have some, you know.
I got you.
Yeah,
And Clifton Chenier did a lot of rumba beats.
Yeah.
You know?
Now
Tell us about Clifton.
I played with Clifton for a while when I was 29, 30 in the waist. You know, when he used to live in Port Arthur. You know.
Right.
You know, he had that house, and all the musicians had to stay with him.
Oh, tell us about that. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he had a whole house, man. He was Clifton. Clifton was like a James Brown. You had to play his music right, and then he would rehearse you all the time. You know.
Would he fine you if you made a mistake?
Yeah, he would. He was cold, man. I guess that's come. He was so good.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
He didn't play. He was. And I respected him for that, you know.
And how long did you work with Clifton?
Oh, maybe about a month or two, because I always wanted my own band, you know. And
Right.
Yeah. So.
How big a band did he have then? Did he have horns then himself?
Who Clifton back there?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he had. You remember Lionel Provost, a great sax player?
I know the name. Yes.
Yeah, he had him, and but he always kept at least about 3 horns back then, you know.
Right.
Yeah, he liked it. And buckwheat. I said I didn't know who buckwheat was.
Right.
Buckwheat went and played with him for about 25, 30 years. But he was an organist, you know, back
Right,
then.
a rhythm. He was playing funk.
Right. Yeah.
We're talking about Stanley Durrell Jr. also.
What?
AKA Buckwheat. No, his real name is Stanley Durrell.
Really?
Jr.
Nice. I didn't know that. All I knew was buckwheat.
Yeah.
Say that again. Stanley what?
Stanley Durrell.
Really?
Durral.
Oh,
That's
really?
his last name.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I thought that was his real name, buckwheat.
You stick with me, man. I'll tell you a few little secrets. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, also, you played on a famous Zydeco record, actually one of the first, maybe the very first hit single in Zydeco, which was Paper in My Shoe
Right,
by Buzu Chavis.
Right.
Now, but Buzu was really a self-taught musician, and he was what people in various forms of root music call a time breaker, which means that instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4, he might drop a beat, and so it was kind of hard to follow him. Can you talk a little bit about that?
His timing was real bad. Buzu, he was a type of guy. He would well, anyhow, let me tell you a little short. Well, my son, y'all know my son, Classie Jr., bass player.
Yeah, he was Buzu's bass player for years.
To be truthful about it, I'm not bragging on him. In fact, I just come from Lake Charles, visit with him on my way here he just got back from Africa. He played with Jeffrey Broussard.
With Jeffrey Broussard and the Creole Cowboys, which is one of the best Zydeco bands out there. Highly recommended.
Yeah, he's great. In fact, give me one of his CDs, and I played it all the way up here from Lake Charles to New Orleans. It is a great CD. Yeah. But anyhow, and he sounds just like Boozoo, man. I thought
he does.
I had to
but his time is better.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, and yeah, and but anyhow. But Classie Jr., when Boozoo hired Boozoo, because he's a funk bass player, he played all that. So when they played Boozoo, you know, back then, he used to play Zydeco, and bass, you know, that was the bass line, just like the old country time, you know. He said, man, I can't play that kind of stuff. So Boozoo said, man, just play what you feel. And really, he the one that created the funk bass in Zydeco, and then now, I mean, I'm seriously, he the one that created that. Then all the bands, Stepperito, Brian Jack, and everybody, all the bass players playing funk bass like
that. Real simple bass. A guy once told me I didn't want to sit on the bandstand and play eat shit bass all night. So some people just don't find it challenging enough.
Yeah.
You know, but your son is like a bass soloist. You know.
Oh man, he can play with one hand just as good as
I've
he can
always
play
noticed
with two.
that.
He can take a drink and smoke a cigarette and don't miss no notes.
He does. He does.
I ain't bragging on him. He played with Wall, and he went overseas with Only You Can Make My Dream Come
the
True.
Platters?
The Platters, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He played with the Platters.
How recently is that?
Pardon?
How recently was that he played with the Platters?
That's when he was kind of starting off, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that been a few
How
years.
old is your son? About 45, maybe?
I don't know.
Well, it was just.
He's about 50 right now.
Well, 45, 50.
Yeah, something like
Close
that.
enough.
But anyhow, but I got off track. So really,
Boozoo.
Classie Jr. and Boozoo's son, Relish, you know, the drummer.
Yes.
And they're the one that kind of got Boozoo in the pocket. Not only that, they feel it. In other words, they played with him for so long. Every time he made a mistake, well, they like cover up for me. You couldn't tell it. Yeah.
Right.
You know. I hate to say like Cook and them. They would play a blues. They would play 13 and 14 ball blues instead of a 12.
But
and I was tripping on that. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to play it wrong.
But if you didn't know it, they could get by with it, you know what I mean? But they play it all wrong together.
If everybody makes the mistake together,
right?
Yeah. And the thing is, it's.
Well, that's true. That's right.
No,
sometimes they play a 12-ball blues. They play 13 balls on it, or 14, but they played it all wrong together.
Well, and the person who determines,
and if you wasn't a musician, didn't know the difference, you know, you could. You know.
And whoever is paying you, you play it right by their standards.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, okay. That's what I want to tell you about Boozoo.
Okay.
They say Boozoo. He was in the studio. In fact, I was in Southwest Blues in Austin with Ponderosa Stomp, but you know, a couple 2-3 weeks ago, and I met Mr. Scott Billington, you know, the producer of Boozoo and Bojack.
Good guy.
So anyhow, Scott was doing a CD on Boozoo, and I think one of the musicians was sitting down, and Boozoo said, "Hey, you over there, stand up." He said, "Man, we're in the studio. I'm gonna sit down." He said, "Hey, you, I pay you, and you better do what I say. Do ya?"
That's right. That's right.
And then they told him, said, "Boozoo, your timing is bad, man. Good God." He said, "Hey, you, I pay you. You follow me."
That's right.
That's right. He tell you in a minute. So I pay you, yeah, and you better follow me. He said. That was it. You know.
No, and I mean, as a drummer, if somebody's keeping time, usually you would keep time with your snare drum.
Yeah.
But as a drummer, if I'm playing with someone who breaks time, I just go on my foot and my cymbal, and then if they're in time, I go with them. But I might wait 3 or 4 bars with my snare stick up in the air, waiting for them to come back. You know, but you just keep pushing it. If you keep pushing it with your bass drum, then the song won't fall apart.
That's right. There you go.
You know.
Well, you sharp. You had the right idea.
Oh, well, thanks. Oh, thanks.
You're
so
right.
Now, I know you played on Boozoo's famous record, Paper in My Shoe.
Well, I was, you know, like I said, I was the hottest thing in Lake Charles back then, and I was the one picked to do this with Eddie Schuler called me and said, "You got the hottest band, and I got this guy here from Dog Hill, and I want to record. I want you to back him up. And he said,
Right.
dude. I said, man, back then, I said, I don't know nothing about no Zydeco. He said, you go feel it. Just he telling me like Boozoo too. I'm gonna pay you. You follow him.
Right. You got to be wrong to be right.
Yeah.
You know. Now, were you surprised that Paper in My Shoe became such a hit?
Man, I had no idea that it was gonna be successful like that. I really
Right.
didn't. Yeah, then had no idea that it was going. To be truthful about it, he opened the doors to. Well, Clifton opened the doors, I would say, in a funk. Because, Clifton played like rhythm and blues, funk. But I'm talking about the old traditional stuff like Boozoo.
Right.
He the one that really opened the doors to the world.
And Clifton was a much more sophisticated musician than
right,
Boozoo.
Right, yes. Clifton was like a James Brown, Hey, hit me there, make it funky.
No, and what I mean, a lot of the people like Boozoo would take a song and adapt it, but maybe only play 1/4 of the actual music of it. But Clifton would take songs by Louis Jordan or Fats Domino and adapt them to be played on the accordion and sing the words in French. But they sounded really in their own way, just as polished as the original versions.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but were there others? So you played with Clifton and Boozoo, but Zydeco was never really your first interest.
No, like I
particularly.
said, man, I was off into Elvis and a wop bop a loo bop a la bop boom tutti frutti, oh Rudy, tutti frutti, woo, tutti frutti, oh Rudy, a wop bop a loo bop a la bop boom, woo.
There you go.
Little Richard, back then,
And he would have been on that circuit. Did he ever play places like Ball's Auditorium and Lake Charles?
Yeah. Well, you see, Ball's was the club back then. All the R&B artists, that's where they come to, Ball's back in the day. And they had another guy named Jones, Jones Ball too on Highway 14. He had a club too. Yeah, he would get a whole
Jones Bar. Okay.
Yeah, but Balls was the one that would get.
Is Jones Bar still there in Lake Charles?
Oh yeah, but they don't use it no more.
Yeah, Ball's
they made
Auditorium
a store out of it, I
burned
believe.
down.
Yeah, Balls that's dead. All that is gone. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy has a fried chicken business, so Ball's son.
Yeah. His son has a kind of like Popeye or Churches. He ain't big like that, but he has a good chicken. Yeah. Independent on,
Independent on chicken business.
Yeah.
Well, now let's. Now you were playing in clubs. You're playing dances. So you had to take requests. You had to learn everything that was big on the radio in those days, right?
Yeah, back in the days, yeah.
Right. Now I'm just curious. This is kind of off the wall, but did you ever learn to play any surf music?
Any what?
Surf music.
Surf music?
Surf music. Like the Ventures or Wipeout or Walk Don't Run.
Oh,
I'm just curious.
Okay, that's enough. Okay.
All right, that's enough of that. We'll just wipe that out. Okay. And
you caught me off track when you said syrup.
I'm sorry.
Sound like you said syrup. I used to like syrup.
At this time, you were living in. Say what now?
I say it sounded like you said syrup. I used to like that syrup. Syrup and bread and cornbread. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was some good stuff back then, man. Huh? You just give me an idea. I might make one like that.
You might have to do it surreptitiously.
Yeah, baby, you stick to me like syrup. I'm in love with you.
Well, see, now we see the creative process in action here. Well, you go with that idea.
I'm going to work on that.
Yeah, there you go. I'm
going to send you a check. Give me your address when I get
Okay. So now, after you left Lake Charles and moved to Little Rock, Arkansas for a while, right? Or were you working at a Little Rock for a while?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no. I left Lake Charles in '58. They had a guy out of Dallas. His name was Howard Lewis. He had his own club. He had his own agency, everything. And he heard about Classie Ballou had this hot band in Lake Charles. He said, what I want you to do, he said, I hire a whole lot of single artists like Wilbert Harris, Kansas City man back then.
Right.
Etta James, she didn't have no band back then. Ruth Brown, Laverne Baker, Chuck Berry.
So you would play with all those people?
So what he did, he would book me 31 nights. We'd go all over Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma. And when I come back, I line to pick up Big Joe Turner.
Right.
Get on that circuit again.
Now, when you did those shows, were you just with one artist, or was it like a package
just
tour?
one artist. Well,
right.
it had another guy. You ever heard of Curly Mays out of San Antonio?
I've heard the name. I don't know much about him.
He never really recalled, but he was a little clown, you know. He played
like a comedian?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean a little clown. When I say he played the guitars with his toes, he made a big old pick. And me and him used to have the battle of the guitar, because like I said, I used to play it behind my back, behind my head, but I was always ashamed to take off my shoes, because I always had a big foot, you know. But he used to play with his toes and everything. But but he was a good little showman, you know.
Right.
He kind of like what's that guy? He's on the show too. I played behind him in Kansas, Salina with
Chad Kaysen.
Yeah, I met Chad at the hotel last night too. I didn't know he was here. What's that little guy from Houston? Got them dreadlocks, played the guitar real wild, like
Altie and
Lil Joe Watson. Yeah.
Okay.
He's still playing, you know, with his teeth and all that.
Right.
But you see, I got good teeth, man. I ain't gonna take no chance like that.
No, don't do that.
No, seriously. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what a toothache is. I never had no cavities. I get them cleaned every 6 months. Everybody say you the luckiest man in the world.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'm due to a cleaning in next month.
Well,
don't
rush off till we're finished, okay?
Okay, yeah. We get off, so we talking about teeth now.
That's okay. Well, moving from teeth to Chicago. You ended up in Chicago. And then you recorded on a big hit, I Don't Want It All, I Just Want a Little Bit by I Don't Want It All, I Just Want a Little Bit by Roscoe Gordon.
Right.
How did you end up to come recording with him for VJ?
I was backing up Roscoe back then.
Right.
Yeah. We was, you remember Shaw Artists out of New York?
I've heard of them, yes.
Yeah, I was an artist, and it was me, Roscoe, and Joe Turner, and Chuck Berry back then. We would travel as a package, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and but anyhow, Roscoe just wrote this song, and I came up with her.
Yeah.
With the I don't want much, I just want a little bit. I don't want it all. I better stop, okay.
You didn't get to the breaks yet.
Just a itty bitty bit, just a teeny weeny bit of your love. Okay.
Okay. Are you telling us 5 minutes, or do you have a question?
Classie, how come it took so long for you to know that song again?
Oh, Lord, my boss man is here. Let's cut the interview off, man.
No, we can't.
He gonna get to ask me too many questions.
Cut it off, we might not get paid.
Yeah, you're right. Now that was just a joke, all right.
Okay.
Glad to see you, man.
All right. Now, for the past, when I first met you in early '80s, I think you were still living in Lake Charles.
Yes, I've been in Lake Charles since '63.
Okay, but then
Lake Charles a pretty good while.
But for the past 20 years or so, at least, you've been living in Waco, Texas, right?
Do what?
You live in Waco, Texas now?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, I've been in
Waco.
Waco since '63.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I left Lake Charles in '58.
Okay, because when I met you,
I kind of got off track. You know, this guy called me. I told you Howard Lewis in Dallas had this famous.
Oh,
club.
yeah. All right.
And then I got to traveling, went to California and all that. And then my wife told me we started having kids. I had 2 kids was born in Little Rock, you know.
Right.
So then my wife told me, she said, man, we got to settle somewhere. We just can't keep traveling. So
Right.
So I ended up in Waco and bought me a home there in '63. Been there ever since.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're still playing several nights a week. I mean, you're a full-time musician.
Yeah, I don't play like that no more because I recall, man. So I don't work as hard no more. Okay.
Okay.
I don't play no 5 and 6 nights a week. I just play, man. I just play. I'm function. I do a lot of weddings. That's where I make my money at. Weddings and the concerts and festivals. That's most of all I do. Yeah,
right.
I don't work in them little. I ain't trying to be funny, but I done graduated from that. You know.
Well, no.
Them little clubs. They want every bit of 4 hours and all that, man. And you know.
Right.
It's not that I can't do it, but you know.
But what I was getting at is, in the course of playing in those clubs, you also had to learn of a lot of country music.
Oh, yeah.
And you're a big country music fan anyway, I would imagine.
Your cheating heart will make you weak. You'll cry and cry. I better stop because I already don't like country. Okay.
Ira loves country. I think I can speak for Ira and say Ira loves country music. I wouldn't worry about that.
I hear you.
And
yeah, I do Willie Nelson, Charlie Pride, everything, all that stuff. I'm labeled as a blues man, but I can play anything. You know, I play jazz and zydeco, country, classic rock.
give us a little taste of some of the jazz that you play.
Now, Ira like this. Now he's sweet home, he like that.
Right.
And my son do some mean ZZ Top. I don't have my fur. My son the one does that. Yeah.
And now with all the playing in bars and playing for the public, you know, you have to learn a wide range of music. But what's your, if you were, say, sitting at home playing for your own enjoyment, not from an audience and not taking requests, what's your personal favorite type of music, would you say?
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch alone, lonely time. Lonely river flows to the sea, to the sea, to the open arm of the sea. Yeah. Lonely riverside, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Are you giving me? Yes, sir. Ira.
Oh, what you say? Dream love. We met in a dream. You were by my side. Then softly we kissed. With eyes open wide, you told me you love me with all of your heart. That's enough, okay.
Well, now, when people use the term swamp pop. At the time you were playing things like that, you had no idea that it was called swamp pop, right?
Right, yeah, you're right. I really didn't.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Did you think that's a good name for it now that it's used later?
Yeah, I guess it's, you know.
Can I make a swamp pop request?
Yeah, if I know it.
Okay. Do you know Irene by Guitar Gable?
I don't know the words to it, but it's almost like Matilda, ain't it?
It's slower. It's a little slower, but the same changes. Yeah.
Can you sing it?
I can't sing. No.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
If I knew how to sing it, I wouldn't ask you.
Yeah. I know Matilda, but I don't know the words to
Okay.
Irene. How'd that go? I don't.
Oh, in the middle of a dream, I heard somebody call my name.
Okay. I really don't know the lyrics.
That's okay.
Yeah. If you sing it, I can.
No.
Yeah.
No. You don't want to hear me
Sorry,
sing
I
it.
don't know the lyrics to that one.
And now at this point in your career, you've been playing 50 years almost.
54 years. 55 now.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel to see an event like this? I mean, 5 years ago or so, 10 years ago, we didn't have anything like the Ponderosa Stomp, and a lot of musicians were not working as much as they are now.
Right.
And how do you feel to see events like this where people, get some time in the spotlight that they might not have received in a while?
I think this is a great thing. Thanks to Ira, the president who started this. Give him a nice round of applause. I think this is a real great thing.
Right.
To dig up all the old musicians, that from way back and all that. Let me make you laugh. What year was that you had Elvis Presley musicians, Ira? What year was that? 2002. Okay, 2002. He had some old guys play with Elvis, and
Scotty Moore and all them.
Yeah, and what happened? The drummer, he got kind of weak, and he got kind of sick. So they were looking for a drummer. So told him, said, my grandson can. They didn't know that my grandson, that Classie Ballou, do hound dog and all that kind of stuff. They're
Right.
looking at him to weigh in. He's a little zydeco drummer. He played blues. He don't know no Elvis Presley.
Right.
So they said, I said, ladies. So he got up there, man. They said, can we hire him? They said they weren't aware that he, a young guy like
Right.
that he knew, Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
So anyhow,
You have a question?
How old were you when you were on paper?
17?
Yeah, about 18, 19, something like that, maybe. I was just starting off, man. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else have any? Yes.
Just real quick, is Classie your real name or is that a nickname?
No, that's my real name on birth certificate and driving license. I kind of have a problem with everywhere I go. Somebody that never saw me before, they say, well, what is your name? I said, that is my name. Sometimes I got to show my driving license off.
Let me ask you about another one of your old records, and maybe we can start to wind this down. But you had a song called Confusion.
I never heard of that one. Yeah, that's by Classie Ballou.
Okay.
Then the horn. Bow. So I can't. Go get your horn. Come and play the horn for That's Dr. Ira White. That is more or less with a horn section,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I know it's hard to to reproduce just with a
Right,
solo guitar. Yeah.
But the rhythm line is is Classie Ballou,
Right.
Oh, before you get off, let me tell you something. That's like you said earlier, but if you had a good instrumental, like Honky Tonk, if you had a
Yes.
good instrumental, man, it would last forever. Like Honky Tonk lasts forever. And mine's,
Tequila?
huh?
Tequila by the Champs. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, back then, if you had a good instrumental like that, like that, what like that, Bill Black. Man, that thing lasts forever, but just a sax,
White Silver Sands. Is that the one?
Oh man, what's the name of that song?
Right.
But anyhow, what, huh, ma'am?
Raunchy.
No, it wasn't Raunchy either.
He had a lot of big hits. Yeah.
Oh Man, I done went blank.
That's all right.
But anyhow, like you said, you know, if you had a good okay, that's what I want to say. Y'all remember Chuck Berry? Up in the morning after school. Chuck Berry on WLAC with John Arrow. That was #1, and Confusion Blues by Classie Ballou was #2.
Okay.
On the chart, across the chart.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know, like I said, if you had a good instrumental.
Right.
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 Yeah.
And if somebody asked you, you know, just in a few words to describe your guitar style, you know, what makes classic? What's the Classie Ballou sound?
Oh Lord, I don't even know my own style, man.
Okay.
I just play.
Well, there you go.
Well, I mean,
no, that's a good answer.
like I said, I'm labeled as a blues man, but you know, I play anything, you know, everything.
Okay.
Yeah. You know.
We are about out of time here, but if you want to take it out with one more little bit of a number, just anything that...
You mentioned Chicago. I'm going to do that.
Yes.
Come on, baby, don't you want to go? Come on, baby, don't you want to go? Back to that same old place, sweet home Chicago.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's been a real honor talking with you. I know that Classie Ballou is going to be performing during the Stomp. I don't have the schedule right here at hand, and we also have a full...
What, 6:45 my time?
Okay. And Ira, what's
6:45
the
my
next
time.
interview session that we have coming up in here?
We have an engineering panel with Bob Sullivan, Cosmo Matassa, Joey Hari, and I think Rick Hall.
Okay.
Just Mark Bingham and
Okay. Well, I would encourage everyone to stick around for that. That'll be a great, informative, and entertaining session. And Classie, thank you again.
Oh, thank
you.
you.
And we're looking forward to hearing you perform.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. A round of applause for Mr. Ben Sandmel, too, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? A great drummer, great record producer, everything.